In today's video, we're talking about a huge return, also backstage drama, and of course, guys, we got a ton of updates on WWE, the recruiting and the releases. Obviously, it just sounds like there is a lot of things happening, and that's why I want to bring this video out to you guys. As you know, we've seen a lot of stuff between Naomi and Sasha Banks, and it's been a huge week in terms of everything that's going down there. AEW people are reacting to it, so we're going to talk about it all in today's video. But first, I do want to kick things off with The Rock. This is just really good stuff if you're a fan of The Rock, and for those who, obviously for a while there's been this tease of The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. There was rumors it was going to happen this past year, and it didn't happen. So now the conversation becomes WrestleMania 39, Hollywood, which is, in SoFi Stadium. I don't even know if that's actually technically Hollywood, but nonetheless, a lot of people are talking about The Rock and Roman Reigns and, whether or not it's going to happen. Obviously, nothing's been confirmed by WWE, but one of the things that was happening on Wrestling Observer Live was Brian Alvarez had been talking about this, and basically public knowledge suggests that The Rock has 0 movie commitments for the first quarter of 2023. So when WWE goes to Hollywood, or SoFi Stadium, basically what's going to end up happening is if they are going to have the match, it's going to take place at WrestleMania 39. Like it would technically work based on the schedule. Now, here's the thing. For those who don't know, 2023 is going to be a very busy year for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because of the XFL. And I'm very curious here if this means that maybe WWE will even help cross-promote it in some sort of circumstances. I don't know what they would do. I find it to be very interesting because Vince McMahon tried to get the XFL off the ground, and honestly, it wasn't his fault. COVID screwed a lot of things up with that. And now that we know XFL has the TV deal with Disney and ESPN and ABC and all that stuff, there is a good chance that The Rock's big focus next year will just simply be the XFL. WrestleMania night 1 or night 2, The Rock versus Roman Reigns, it's probably going to be the biggest match of all time. I would expect this to fully, be fully in motion. I would expect this to be a big part of WrestleMania plans. But for those who are wondering, I know there was reports saying that The Rock would not return, things like that. Look, anything is possible, but at this point, it is very possible that he's going to show up in WWE. All right, guys, now you guys may know about Dexter Lumis getting released. Obviously, there's just been so many people released throughout the years. And then, of course, Stephanie McMahon is now taking a leave of absence. We talked about that. And then, of course, with Stephanie taking time off and then staff getting cut, it sounds pretty chaotic in WWE right now. And this has actually led to a lot of conversations between people on social media. Hey, what is really happening in WWE? What is going down in WWE to make this happen? And basically, Road Dogg had an interview with WrestleZone. And basically, when he's having this interview, he's making it pretty clear, NXT was never supposed to be the third brand. And when he talks about NXT not being the third brand, I think what essentially has happened is that WWE has completely changed from what they used to be from a business standpoint. And because WWE kind of lost track of who they were and what they do, I feel like WWE reverting NXT to NXT 2.0 was what I always said, right? It was always meant to be developmental. It was never supposed to be the third brand. But then you have situations like Stephanie, and then, okay, what's happening with Triple H? And you're hearing about this drama with Sasha and Naomi. And it just sounds like WWE from a company perspective, I think WWE has seen so much change throughout the years, and there's a little bit of inconsistency from the back end, which obviously shows, when you go into the end of 2021 and WWE Raw is completely, hard to watch, and then early 2022, now it's May 22nd, and literally Raw continues to be better than SmackDown. Public opinion would suggest that Raw has actually been a lot better because of the mid-card and all of these different things. So, one of the things specifically was Road Dogg had talked about Dexter Lumis, and he says, I think what his deal was, I think it was his age. You know what I mean? He's not 40. He ain't 25 either. Right now, what they are trying to do is get as many young talents up and running as they possibly can, because then you're going to see a few of those stick out, and you're going to go, okay, there. And so we're going to send her to SmackDown or Raw, whatever. So the thing is, when you listen to this, right, and when you hear this interview and you see the way that things are being discussed, right, you have to keep in mind that WWE is constantly evolving, and along the way, they continue to lose a little bit of themselves. And that's okay. That's going to happen within business. We've seen that happen with AEW. We see it happen with WWE. We see it happen with retail stores. We see it happen with tech companies. That is normal. But it sounds more from like a company structure, there is an issue. And that could be resolved at any point in time. What is happening with Stephanie McMahon? We don't really know. Is there something to it? Doesn't sound like it. But now Wade Keller is saying that there could be something with it. So like at the end of the day, the best thing to do is just watch the product, support it if you enjoy it. If you don't support it, don't watch it. And hopefully WWE kind of gets it figured out, because now all these people that have been released, there's a reason for it. You know, we didn't think it made sense for Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt to get released, but WWE felt like it was okay. And I think what that really comes down to is WWE is really not, they don't, yes, they're going to try to produce the next John Cena or the next Daniel Bryan or whatever it may be. But for the most part, I think what this suggests is that WWE is so worried about their overall scope of their brand and their image and the licensing and intellectual properties and all this stuff. Everything else is just secondary. And I feel like that's kind of the same way Disney is. When you really, really think about it, Disney can have, they could have a shit ton of movies or shows that flop, but they're so big, it doesn't really matter. And I think that's what it's really come down to with WWE. And that leads us to our backstage drama. So obviously we have been following the story of Naomi and Sasha Banks for a while now. And this has become a conversation every single day on social media. And truth be told, I am sick and tired of it. You have people from AEW weighing in on it. You have CM Punk weighing in on it. You have Matt Cardona weighing in on it. Now basically what has happened, for those who are unaware, WWE is basically removing Sasha Banks and Naomi from like programming and stuff. The then, now, and forever intro, Sasha and Naomi have been replaced on that. And now Naomi has removed WWE Superstar from her Twitter bio. And then people still ask me, how do you think this is a work? And again, I could be wrong. I'm not one to question things as a work. But if WWE is going this extreme lengths to remove Naomi and Sasha Banks, then not only would it be an amazing work, because they're obviously going very, very deep into it, but if it was a work, it's a great job. There's nobody who really believes that this isn't legit. But secondly, this backstage drama that has occurred, I think it's taking a focus away from these superstars and everything. And what I would like to see is that everybody comes together for the better good of their careers and for the programming and everything. And it's such a difficult situation. As you guys know, I don't know if this is a work or not. People suggest it's real. People suggest, hey, it's scripted, whatever. And I think there's a little bit of, something in both. But what I would say is, for Naomi and Sasha, as I've said it so many times, I'm really big fans of their work. I just want this to get resolved. Because especially with social media, and this is where I really hate WWE for putting out the stuff on commentary and social media and stuff. But like, this has led to a lot of people just being assholes on social media, and I just don't rock with it. And this backstage drama, it's too much. WWE needs to listen to their talent, and they need to work these things out to prevent these things. If this is legit, that's how it should be. You got to prevent this stuff. As far as everything else goes, social media talks, it's a wave of all this stuff. You can't really buy into it, but we'll see what happens. Is this the greatest work? I have no idea. A lot of people think it is. A lot of people don't. This is a very, very tricky situation. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'll see you next time. Peace.